So we're just one more piece away before we actually start editing some video, but we need to learn the interface first. So we're going to take a tour of the interface. We're going to look at how to add media again. We want to look at how we can sort and filter the media that we've added to find things easier and quicker. We want to look at the menu options that are available. We want to look at our toolbars and the view options we have. We want to look at the monitor options. And lastly, sequence controls. Now we're going to start having a little bit of fun. You made it through the first 3 steps. That's great. You're set up. You're ready to start editing. But we need to learn the interface of Adobe Rush just to be aware of the tools and resources and controls that we have accessible at our fingertips. We're going to start with the top left. We're going to look at the menu at the top. We have File. So that's where you can create a new project or sequence. A sequence is like a timeline, so to say. We can close. You can see there's no save, it auto saves. We can share, which is how you kind of finalize your product and get it ready to produce to Google Drive or YouTube or publish wherever you're going to have your video be displayed. And we can exit. And then we have edit. We can do undo, redo, cut, copy, paste, select all. There's some preferences, but the default preferences are fine. We can leave those there. That's a little bit of an advanced kind of topic there. And of course we have some clip controls. There's some shortcuts you can see, and we have sequencing where we can zoom in and out. Snapping is something where videos come together like magnets. That's good to have on there. And viewing, we can choose what views we want to see, and there's some shortcuts for that. So for example, if we just wanted to see the graphics, we can just hit Control 1 and the graphics would pop up. There's our graphics. And then we can click on graphics again to hide it. You can also get to all of them from over here. It's just if you like shortcuts. And of course, there's some help. If you need help further beyond what we're providing you here, there's some more tutorials and you can search their help. And you can actually take a tour provided to you by Adobe and manage your account, sign out, look for updates, things of that nature. So that's the top menu bar. Here's our home button. If we click on this, we'll be taken back to home. This is a sample product they gave you. That's part of the tour, but we're going to kind of just get you up and running here really quick. So let's go back into our project. Then of course we're in edit mode. And sharing is when you're done and you're ready to publish. We have our plus media, and we can see we can add media, audio, video, images, graphics. We have audio here as well, like for music, backtracks, things of that nature. And we can also do voiceover. And here's how you look at all your project assets by clicking on this file box, so to say. That takes care of this top left-hand corner. Let's look at our media here. Let's go ahead and just take one video clip and drag it onto our sequence, just so we have something to work with. You can see all of our media here is mixed. We have audio files with video files. We can scroll down and see all the project assets. So coming down to the very bottom, we can sort those. We can look at them by name, and we can look at them by date or time they were made. I like the sorting features. If I just want to see videos only, I can just see just my video footage, which is going to be helpful when we look for our video clips. And then we can also just sort for our audio. And if we had images in there, we can sort by images. So that's your sorting. Over here on the left here, we have this toolbar. Notice the scissors aren't highlighted. If I touch the sequence, then the scissors are highlighted and I can make a cut. So let's say if I wanted to cut my video right here, right when that bird is, right when the camera is just about ready to turn, just before there, if I wanted to cut there, I can touch the scissors and it just cut my media piece. And then here, if I want to duplicate something, I can hit duplicate. So this clip here is selected. If I hit duplicate, it makes another copy of that. I'll go ahead and delete that out. And of course, there's your delete. Here, this is to expand your audio. So if you want to see your audio in more detail, which we don't have any in there right now, we can expand it. Let's go ahead and reverse that. And then here are the control tracks. This is getting to look a little bit more like an advanced video editor, where we have multiple sequences and audio files that we can have on at a different time. So you think of layering videos or adding title sequences on top of videos. So, or videos within videos, like picture in picture. That's why you may want to use this. So if you don't like that view, if it's too much for you at first, you can toggle that on and off. And I particularly like to have mine on, especially if I'm going to be doing some voiceover or adjusting audio levels. So that takes care of this whole left panel. And let's go ahead and come up to the top. In the middle, we can see the name of our project and the sequence that we're in. Coming over to the right, we can minimize, maximize, exit. We have our undo, redo. We have feedback if you want to provide some feedback. And now we're going to go through all these toolbars over here on the right. The first is adding text or graphics. If you click on that and you hit plus graphics, your graphics over here, up here, you can hit more to see all the ones that are available. If there's one that you like, you just simply grab it and drag it over where you want it to be. And then you can add that graphic. Coming down to the next one, to close something, just touch it again. So to open the graphics, click on it once. To close it, click on it again. And there's other graphics that are available there as well. You can see here you have transition graphics, overlays. So those are things that you're going to want to experiment with. So let's close out the graphics. Coming down here to transitions or effects. So I click on that. I can see that in between two clips, let's say in between these two here that I made, see how there's two coming together where they meet, is where we may have a transition. So I can drag a transition and drop it on two clips, and then we can see how that kind of transition works or looks like. We can also do some panning and zooming, auto reframing. If you want to have those features turned on, you can adjust the duration. And again, a lot of these are things that you need to experiment with or play with. Right now I'm just trying to give you a quick tour of the interface so you know where things are. Let's go ahead and click off of effects and come down here to our color. If we click on that, if we wanted to alter the color of a clip, we touch the clip and we can add a coloring effect. So you can click that on. You can change it to none, add others, see what it looks like, that type of thing. You can also adjust the intensity of that effect down at the bottom by sliding this up or down. And you can also go back to none if you like to. There's a few more things you can do that are more advanced under Edit, where you can manually use these sliders to be able to control. So if we really wanted to make it warmer, we could bring this up, versus if we make it cooler, we could bring this down. So that's just a sample of how to use these. So if you want to color grade individual clips, you can do that. There are some advanced settings as well. Vignettes are some things I like to use. It just kind of puts like a black kind of shade around the corners, and you can feather that out. Again, these are things you want to experiment with. Let's go ahead and click on color again. Let's come down to speed. So if we want to increase or decrease the speed, we can see the speed is displayed here. That's 100% right now. I can slow that down if I wanted to. And I can also speed that up. And I can choose the range. I can ramp it up. Let's go ahead and click on speed again. Again, those are things you have to experiment with. And then we're going to look at our audio. So let's go ahead over to our file assets, our project assets, and let's drag down some audio. And now that we have some audio here, we can look at adjusting the volume here. If you wanted to expand that audio, remember over here we could expand the audio to see it more clearly. We can change if it's voice, music, or other. It's music here. Auto ducking is something we'll get into. That's a little bit more advanced. And you can also mute a clip just by clicking on it and muting it. And you can also browse for soundtracks that are included in your account. Let's go ahead and click on audio again. And let's look at cropping. So if you had a need to crop, click on crop, and you can basically just go ahead and click on that clip you want to crop and adjust the cropping settings to suit your needs. That will probably be used if you're using maybe vertical video with horizontal, or you want to have picture in picture, that type of thing. You can also reset it back to its default by clicking on this arrow. Let's click on crop again. Coming down here to the bottom, these audio levels, if we push play, we can see our audio levels. We want to make sure they're not in the red. If they were, we bring the volume down. And lastly, here in the middle, we have our monitor controls and we have our sequence controls. So let's look at our monitor controls. We can see this is our timeline. We can see the full duration of the sequence and where the playhead is. We can go ahead and go back to the previous edit. We can go ahead and go one step backwards. We can push play. And of course, we can go one frame forward and we can go to the next edit point. Coming back to here, we can maximize our screen to see it, to preview it. We can also come here and loop the playback if we wanted to see something multiple times. And we can change the aspect ratio here if we needed to. Lastly, you can adjust the monitor size by dragging this up and down. If you're working on a laptop with a small screen, it's obviously beneficial to have a second monitor for this, but this may help you by adjusting this up or down if you're working with a small area. And lastly, on the sequence, we can lock something in place so nothing can be done to it. We can also mute, and we can hide the view of something. Down here, same thing, lock, mute, and then this is for voiceover. So if you want to do some voiceover, put your playhead where you want to start, click on the record button, go ahead and choose your input, which will come back to edit and preferences. And we're going to make sure we have our microphone selected and hit OK. And now if I hit record, it'll start recording the audio. Again, we went to edit, to preferences, to our audio input, and made sure our mic was selected. Hit OK, and now you'll be able to do voiceover. So that's a lot of information, but now you have a good grasp on the interface of Premiere Rush. Now we're ready to move on to Editing 101.